start with the same technique. Please guys, practice this. Make sure I get my arm position correct. Make sure my posture is good. My hips are down. My back's rolled out. I'm looking up. When I decide it's my time, I set. I go center line, 90 degrees with my other leg, and I'm coming to the hips as I walk down. I'm getting my break. As soon as my break happens, I come up and I go to a nice tight combat pace. As soon as I go to this combat pace, guaranteed the next thing that happens is he brings his knees to the chest because he wants to start to defend this, right? So as he does so, I'm going to track this with my hands and I'm going to stay on him, keeping my knee in the plane of his hips, keeping the hands on either side of the quad. This prevents him from getting underneath anything because now I control this distal third of the femur. We talked about how important it is to run the hips when we're doing guard passing. It's hard to get in deep enough to control a hip. What is much easier to get to is this distal third, the far part of the femur, from about the knee to just under halfway. If I can control this section of the femur, I can control what he does with that hip. So as he's here, his hips come, or his knees come up to his chest because he's wanting to play open guard. As soon as this happens, I just track with him, go and pull him up. And now I can start to steer what goes on. So I'm going to steer, go ahead and pull back in. I steer one of the legs towards the ground and look what I do with my knee. The knee that's up, I take that knee, I rotate it out and I step over with my knee. Once my knee clears his thigh, I'm rolling forward, and as I roll forward, look what's happening with my body posture. See, I'm driving in on this other femur. There's a really, really important reason for that. Guzman can tell you all about it because if you fail to do it, you're going to get locked up in a half guard here. And all that good work he did just gets shortcut. So stay on this femur, and I'm starting to put weight on it. I'm making him uncomfortable. As I put weight on it, this hand comes underneath, and I reach. Because now, he can't regard. Go ahead and remove the guard. This one, right? This one, there's no recomposition of the guard. My hands are wide, my weight's sliding down, and my hip sits directly on the back of my foot. And notice I'm reaching with this hand. I'm not letting it tight because if I let my hand go right here, he can still reach up and guard me. He can still make all kinds of problems for me here. So as soon as I'm sliding down this leg, I never let it go. I reach. I reach with this arm. Now my inside leg steps over. And at this point, is there any way he can recompose guard? Nope. Not at all. So I'm gripping the shoulder, I'm gripping the belt, and now I'm just doing a simple walk with my hips. I'm opening my hips up to make space with my inside knee, and then I'm just going to drop into the inside of the hip. Once I'm here, I always hear people, well, can you triangle your arm? Yeah, you can. For what it's worth, go ahead and hold real hard. Problem solved, right? So, run through your technique. We're going to start right at the break for time's sake. I'm here, hands are up, nice tight combat base. His knees come back up towards his chest. I'm cupping the thigh on my knee side. And notice I'm not just pushing with my arm. As soon as I get this cup, look what I'm doing with my knee. I'm already driving pressure with that knee. I'm letting my body weight do the work, not my muscles in my arm. They're weak compared to my body weight. My chest slides down, gets under his knee, my arm circles underneath, and I reach. And I get that as far as I can. I let my hips, I let my weight sink, right? I'm stretching that. And this is it, this is what you want. My inside leg steps over. Turn my hips to where I'm facing my hips towards his feet. As soon as this knee's clear, I turn him back, and I drive my knee right up to his hip. Nice and tight, shallow side, and I'm ready to work. Questions? If I have good control, I can go that pace during a roll and still hit my packs because the pressure is what sells this. All right? Sink those hips. All right, guys, let's try it.